Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Clangin Bangin with Mikey, episode 192, and today we're gonna talk about man, what are we gonna talk about today? It's interesting because on my social media page, I we post a lot of voiceovers, right? So I just take the audio, and it's basically a blind reaction to what people are saying, right? And majority of the voiceovers that I use are from tonight's conversation. Like a lot of the stuff that they talk about in those little snippets or those little clips is pretty on point. It's never really bad advice for the most part. And with that, man, it's like as I get older, I realize that not everything has to be spoken on. Not everything has to be explained about. Like you don't need an explanation for every fucking thing. You don't need an explanation as to why people do what they do. And in reality, it just comes down to it's like I think a lot of us, and it's like we overthink things that shouldn't be overthunk. I overthunk. I don't know if that's the word, but I just made it up. But yeah, the coffee's hot. But yeah, man, I think that's important because it's like not overthinking is a great thing to just go, go and live life and go make mistakes, whatever it is, right? It doesn't matter. And so it just things like that, and understanding that it's okay, to not know everything or to not, have an understanding of things, because not everything needs to be understood to a point. I ran into somebody that I used to be friends with, well, not used to be friends, but still are friends with, but we just went our different ways. But every time we see each other, it's like, hey man, how you doing? Boom, 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 boom. So we was talking about his kid and everything too. He was like, yeah, man, he's like, well, X, Y, and Z, the kid's not confident and everything. I was like, yeah, you know what? He's just gonna have to learn to be confident, man. And that's what it is. You gotta teach him to be confident, and I was having a conversation with another person that I know, and I was asking her, she was telling me all this stuff. I said, oh, okay, so if you want X, Y, and Z, what's stopping you from getting that? And she's talking about like she wants property and X, Y, and Z, all that stuff, right? I said, okay, cool, but what's stopping you from getting that? What's stopping you from achieving what you want, And she said, I'm just tired of renting, I'm like, okay, I get all that. I understand that, and I said, I ended the conversation with this individual, and I said, you know what the definition of luck is? And she's like, no, what's that? And I go, definition of luck is when work meets preparation. She has a good career, she loves what she does, and so that's great. I don't know what her financial standing is, but also too, it's like, okay, cool, you can do what you want to do, make it, like, it doesn't matter. You can also you can always have situations where you are just so paralyzed by by over analyzation that it's difficult for you to make the move. Because I think everybody knows what they want to do. I think everybody knows how they want to get to, that they want to get from point A to point B. They just don't know how to get there. And I think we have a tendency to overanalyze something that should be real simple. If you're not confident, put yourself in situations where you have to be confident. If as for me, it's like, the same guy that I ran into yesterday when we were just talking. And I was like, man, you remember all the dumb shit we used to do, right? And like, none of it was illegal, but some of it's like, fuck. You look back on it now, like, what the fuck was I thinking, right? And it's the same thing with, we had gone to this restaurant. And, the bathrooms at that particular restaurant were unisex. And now, mind you, I'm a competitive bodybuilder, so I'm gonna always stay somewhat in shape, you know, off season, you know. And I remember I had on this bright orange t-shirt, bright orange polo, and it had the number Ralph Lauren 3 on the side of it, right? So, just two girls walk in. I say girls, but I should say young ladies. They walk in, and mind you, I know I'm looking good, like no cap. It's like, you know, call me conceited, whatever you want to call me, right? So I end up, and mind you, my boys didn't know that the bathrooms were co-ed, right? So I'm walking out, you know, I'm rapping to both of them. I end up getting a number. So I got that number, and my partner looking at me like, bro, you still got it, huh? Yeah. And like, you know, nothing materialized out of it, just simple, wholesome conversation. And I said, you know, and they was out celebrating their friend's birthday, whatever. It's okay, cool, did your thing. I said, hey, hope you guys have a great night. You know, you have my phone number just in case something does happen, you know, and feel free to give me a call. And I think a few of them did call me. But yeah, man, it's like, you just have to put yourself in situations where if you lack confidence, make yourself be confident. Like, it doesn't have to be like, oh my God, you know, over the top type of shit or anything like that. Because it doesn't need to be all that. But it's like, at the same time, you also have to realize that if you want something new, something better, you have to go out there and get it. You know, it's not going to just fall into your lap. You know? And I think that's what a lot of people, they're so intimidated by that. You know, they go, well, like, what if I say the wrong thing? Cool. Just say what you feel. Cause I guarantee you, if the person is feeling you, baby, they're not gonna write you off because of that. You know, they're gonna write you off because of X, Y, and Z or whatever it is, or their own insecurities. But as long as you true to yourself and true to who you are, then you ain't got nothing to worry about. It's like, stop thinking you have to say all the right things and, you know, do all the right things. And because it's like, in reality, it's like you're not even being yourself. In reality, you're just being a shell of yourself. And that's the worst thing you can do, is sit there and be like, oh yeah, and pretend like you know, don't have more to offer than what people physically see. Man, for me, it took me a long time to come to terms with, okay, physical disability. Okay, what can I do to, quote unquote, not necessarily fit in, but just even the playing field, right? And weight training found me. Quick story. It was beginning of my senior year, well, ending of my junior year, going into my senior year. So we, back in the day, I don't know how they do it now, but back in the day, they literally gave you a sheet. At all the classes you could take, right? Math, science, weight training, all that stuff. Right? So I figured, okay, I signed up for English, humanities, like 4 other electives, which was like theater, but I was big in theater back then, like stage building. I always thought that was fun. Weight training, and it was, what else was it? It was something else. Oh, it was computer science. Computer science and something else. I don't remember. Anyway, my dad was telling me, he's like, man, weight training. Yeah, why not? You know, it's something to do, and it's gonna teach me how to be disciplined for the most part, right? Because that's what weight training is. You know, it's like, it's showing up when you don't want to show up. It's doing the lifts when you don't want to do it. It's you know, and the guy that we had as our weight trainer, you know, yeah, weight training teacher. Yeah, he was okay, you know, a little gruff. Um, Definitely something that was he was a nice dude, you know, but he just had that about him, you know, because you catch him outside of class and everything, and he was super chill, you know, and because he used to coach baseball too, so he would open up the gym after school, and he would just let us come work out, you know, because he was coaching baseball, and he's like, and he would have the guys come in, his players come in and lift, and every once in a while, like because I used to hoop, and so before practice would start, I would go get a workout in, and he'd be like, hey, what up, Mikey? Like, hey, what up, coach? You know what I mean? And because he knew I used to hoop, so he figured, yeah, I mean, well, come and get your workout in, man. I was like, okay, cool. But it's that small, dingy ass room. It was crowded. It was like it was like a utility room, but they blew it out to make it bigger, right? But they had dumbbells in there. They had bench presses. They had a leg press machine in there. They had a incline bench press. I think they had a decline bench press too. They had a couple squat racks, and they just, you know, and the equipment wasn't the best. You know, it was secondhand. It was semi rundown, but it was great. You know, because it's like, you know, it's like, but the thing with that room is like there was no ventilation, and so it's like you open up the doors, and as soon as you open up the doors, you just feel the heat just whoosh escape the room, and that was my first experience with weight training. Needless to say, I knew I had to bring more than one t-shirt, because boy, the teenage boy in weight training, we stink. You know, I had to bring at least 2 or 3 shirts a week extra. You know, I used to have like 3 shirts in my bag, and like I used to rotate them out, because I used to keep 2 in my locker for like Mondays and Tuesdays, and then like I would just take one of the t-shirts out, and I would just work out in those, you know, the fresh t-shirts. So, but my point is, I was really self-conscious about my body, frankly, because I have a physical disability, which is cerebral palsy, and I still battle with the insecurities from time to time, and it's like, especially when I'm with, you know, out in public, you know, and I know that people may or may not be looking at me. I mean, I'm not assuming that they looking at me. I just have a feeling that they are. But then I gotta realize, then I gotta remember, like, yo, okay, like, this is who you are. Own it, bro. Like, don't be so caught up in what other people may or may not see, because all they see is a physical, dog. Like, they don't know you, you know. They don't know that you're a competitive bodybuilder. They don't know that you're, that you're a musician, that you produce music, or that type of stuff, right? They don't know none of that. They don't know that you're soon to be a published author. You know, they don't know none of that. All they see is what they see in front of them. And if they gonna give you side-eye looks, whatever it is, I'm gonna tell homie, like, yo, like, what's up? What you looking at, dog? And like, not in a disrespectful way, but at the same time, it's like, bro, like, no, why are you looking at me like that? But bro, what's going on with you? What's up? And so it's just things like that, because you end up becoming, what's the word? You end up becoming so, what's the word I'm looking for? You end up becoming so just wrapped up in something that doesn't fucking matter. Some other people's opinions, and it's like, it really doesn't mean anything. Just be who you are. And I think that's the whole point of tonight's conversation. It's like those little snippets that they post, those little clips that they post, and just like, and a lot of it has to do with dating, you know, because a lot of it has to do with women trying to figure out why men are like this, or X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, yo, it's like, they like this because you haven't told them that you want better. Or it's always interesting to me when women want to hook up with dudes, and and they're just on some sexual shit. And then they want to be like, well, everything you send me is sexual, or all we do is boom, 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 boom. There's nothing else because you didn't want nothing else. How can I give you something else when you don't express that? You know what I mean? It just doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense because it's like, you're going to get mad at me for giving you the energy that you gave me, but somehow it's my fault? Somehow it's my fault for me not being able to pick up on what you didn't verbalize. You know? And when you don't verbalize, you just make assumptions. And when you don't verbalize what's actually going on, you know, in your head, you just assume the other person's, you know, doing X, Y, and Z. And an assumption is a great way to lose people too, because you end up creating a false narrative in your head that doesn't deserve to be there. You're like, what? Like, yeah, think about it. You end up creating a narrative in your head that doesn't deserve to be there, but because your own insecurities cause it to be there, now you're causing issues in a situation that doesn't have anything to do with anything. Like, people gotta stop that, man, because it's like, you're gonna end up fucking over somebody great because you can't get it together. Or you're gonna end up being in a situation where it's like, you deserve better, but because you don't want to speak up and be confident in who you are, because there's a difference between setting boundaries and abiding by those boundaries and trying to set boundaries. Everybody says, I'm trying to do this, I'm trying to do that, blah, blah. And I'm like, yo, that means you're not doing anything. Because if you were trying to do something, you would have did it. You know? I'm going to take it back to what I know. Like, releasing music and go competitive bodybuilding, whatever it is, right? It's like, competitive bodybuilding is either you're going to do the show or you're not. A lot of people talk about, yeah, I'm going to fucking do a show, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z, I'm going to do yada, yada, yada. 6 months later, they still look the same. You know? 6 months later, they still eating like shit. They're still not following a diet. They're not doing anything that's appropriately close to what you have to do to get the results you want to get. And partly is because it could be a plethora of different issues. It could be your friends, could be your family, could be acquaintances, you know, people in your ear that always want to tell you X, Y, and Z. I had somebody tell me once years ago when I first started bodybuilding. They're like, yo, you know, well, you lucky you lost all that weight. What does luck have to do with it? But then it made me think, what's the definition of luck? Luck is when work meets preparation. That's what it is. You work, you prepare. And in that case, it was following the diet to a T. Understanding that what you're doing is for the end goal. And that's what luck is. Everybody says that you're lucky, but nobody really sees the hours and hours of energy and time that you put into this. There's nothing to do with luck. It's you wanting it and you doing exactly whatever you possibly can to get to that goal. You know, some people, like myself, hey, all I want to do is do a national show. Did that. Other people, they want to get their pro card, you know, use it to, you know, to leverage business. Okay, cool. But I get that too. It's fine. Other people want to compete on the pro level circuit. Cool. But we all have goals. We all have ambitions. We all have dreams that we want to reach. So at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter what other people think. It's about you holding yourself accountable and you understanding that, okay, this is a goal. I don't know how I'm gonna get there, but I have this meal plan, or I have this path I want to take. So I'm gonna take this path, you know. And nobody talks about the detours. Nobody talks about the pitfalls. Nobody talks about the fucking valleys. And probably the biggest valley of my life that I've had to navigate so far, man. And I know I've mentioned this before on other episodes, is losing my brother. Quick backstory. So last September, I became nationally qualified at a local NPC show, and I was gonna do the following year I was gonna do the amateur Arnold. I was gonna do that. I was gonna fly up to Ohio, do the show, whatever, right? And I still want to do the amateur Arnold, but I knew for a fact that when I was prepping for the amateur Arnold, back, like I took like a week off prep and I jumped right back on. My body wasn't moving the way I wanted it to move. So I'm like, yo, okay, what the fuck am I doing? And it just wasn't moving the way it should have been moving. It just wasn't responding. And I'm like, okay, yeah, let me go shelve this show. Let me go find another show that I can do that can help me get to where I want to go, right? So I ended up doing USA's in July. And my brother goes, hey man, I thought you were gonna do a show, dog. And mind you, he was still alive, you know. And it was this is like Christmas time going into the New Year's. I'm like, nah, dog, what you gonna? I was gonna do the amateur Arnold, but my body's not moving fast enough. And he's like, yo, like, what are you doing? I'm like, that's the thing, man. I'm following the diet, but my body it's just not responding. It was responding, but it wasn't responding fast enough that I wanted it to respond. I wanted to drop like 3 pounds a week, and I was only dropping a pound a week, which is not bad, but still. And ironically, the week that he died was the same week of the amateur Arnold. Amateur Arnold was supposed to be like February 24th to the 28th, and he died on February 20th, 2024. Mind you, I'm in prep for fucking USA's. Mind you, I'm prepping for a fucking national bodybuilding show. And I'm like, yo, what the fuck? Like, my main supporter is no longer here. The guy I will talk to you about anything and everything is no longer here. How the fuck do I navigate this? Because I'm talking about, like, I would text this nigga and be like, yo, boom, 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 boom. Or he would send me some off the wall shit just to cheer me up. And it's usually some 49ers bullshit. And we would sit there, we would just laugh and joke about it. You know? Like, he was a diehard Niners fan, right? But yeah, man, it's like having to navigate that valley and having to switch gears, and it's like, okay, I got the show. And what was really fucked up about it is that me and my brother talked about exactly what we gonna do after the show. He's like, dog, he's like, we doing this, we doing that, boom, 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 boom. I'm like, oh, what? Yeah, we doing all this shit, bro. Fuck yeah, you know. And it's sad, man, that my biggest accomplishment, my dude wasn't here to see it physically. And I had to switch gears mind you, I'm still dieting. I'm still doing everything I can, right? Still not dealing with the emotions behind this shit. But it's also very something that's dear to my heart, man. Cause like when you lose somebody, how I lost Tim, it's real difficult to bounce back. It's real difficult not to be reclusive. It's real difficult not to be reminded. It's real difficult just to be like, fuck, like my nigga ain't here no more. I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do, but I gotta do something. You know what I mean? I don't know how I'm gonna figure this shit out, but I gotta do something. And so, like, with that being said, man, it's just like it's so much shit going on, and it's like my main point is we all have to be held accountable for what we do and what we don't do. Fuck all the bullshit, fuck everything else, because in reality, everybody goes through trials and tribulations. Like, you'll be hard pressed to find anybody who hasn't gone through something traumatic. But it's not what you go through per se, it's how you go through it. Cause I could have shut down. I could have gave him to the dark thoughts. I could have did X, Y, and Z, but I didn't. Every day, I'm fighting something. Every day, like, I'm reminded of something. Like, I stumble across a fucking Snapchat memory or a fucking, Facebook memory, and it's me and him. And it's like, it's difficult for people to understand that, because it's like, while I am empathetic, I also am sympathetic to myself too. I feel like, okay, bro, we still got shit to do. And I understand that we going through this right now, but my nigga, no, right here, right now, this is what we got to deal with. Everything else from this point on takes a backseat. Now, it may be fucked up, and it may be something that's like, people may looking like, damn, man, that's really cold-hearted. But it's like, you gotta categorize what's important in the moment and what's important overall. Because a lot of the times people will sit there and be like, oh, yeah. And you're like, no, man, shut up, bro. No, shut up. What the fuck you complaining about, right? But yeah, man, this is about 28 minutes of your life that y'all won't get back. Hope y'all keeping the 4Ps. Private player, positive pushing. I'll see y'all next week Sunday. I love y'all. Ghost, like I always say, know your worth because you're better than what you are. Peace.